Breathe out. Capturing audio. Okay. Hello, welcome to Warnish Radio, a radio show where we talk about thoughts, feelings, and emotions alike. And I am your host, Warnish, and welcome back to another video. I'm not sure what this one will be about, but I had a need to just kind of left stuff out of my Steam, get some thoughts, get some steam, let some steam out, let off some steam. There we go. That took way too long. Why is this chest already full of dirt? Oh, I see what I did here. Today I wanted to talk about my take on romantic relationships, my take on that, precisely because I watched the Weekly Slap by Jay Schlatt just recently, and I was thinking about it a lot because I thought that his advice kind of sucked ass, honestly. He was mentioning how guys get put in the friend zone and how you kind of just need to let time pass and let yourself get over someone. And usually Schlatt is pretty good at giving advice, but I think his romantic advice sucked ass. I think it sucked ass. And I wanted to kind of give my take on romantic relationships, specifically because it is something that I think about a lot. Why are there so many animals just breaking free? Do you see they're just they're jumping up and escaping. I don't understand how they're smart enough to do that. What's going on here? I don't talk about romantic relationships too much with a lot of people I'm close with, particularly because there's not much to say. I don't really go through romantic occurrences a lot anymore in my life because I don't talk to enough people who are interested in that stuff, and when they are, I don't know what to tell them because I honestly don't show them particular interest because I'm a very picky person. You know, I don't really like it when I'm too flirted with. I guess it feels so strange to me. I just start cringing. I'm just like, you know, somebody goes in your DMs and they start talking to you a certain way. It almost feels like I don't know you enough to be talking to you that way. And it's better when you develop a thoughtful relationship beforehand, I think, which is a whole nother rabbit hole that I could get into. Wow, look at these beautiful fields. They're not done yet, though. I think I need to have a plan for this video. I need to think accordingly, because I kind of just dilly-dally, and it's not good to look at, I don't think. I can't just be escaping into some other environment. I think I need to plan something. I think I got something in plan. I also haven't recorded one of these in a while, because I wanted to make videos that you could actually get something out of, and I want to be coherent and speak, I guess, more thoroughly. I don't really organize my thoughts too well, and I feel like I don't know enough, and I want to gain more knowledge for these videos so I can provide more, I guess, a better viewing experience and kind of get a grasp of the point that I'm getting at. Romantic relationships, you got your head around someone, maybe it's a boy or girl, you think they're kind of cute, you want to go out with them or whatever whatever takes your mind. You're getting close to someone, or you met someone recently and you're like, oh, maybe I asked them out, stuff like that. I think that romance is a beauty in itself, and there's a lot to it. It's hard for me to talk about particularly romances because it's a whole spectrum. People think thinking someone is hot is a romance, which I don't think so, honestly. And it's very strange to me to have conversations where I look at an image of someone and they're like, oh, are they hot? Do you think that they're hot? And I'm like, man, I don't even know who that is. I don't know that person. I'm not close with them. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, they're so hot. Not to say I don't think people are attractive in my head. It's just something I'm working on, because I'm not someone who cares about physical attraction. So being asked questions like that just kind of makes me a little nervous. I don't know what to say. What's the right response to that? Because I feel it's too standoffish when I say oh, I don't care about looks, because that's not entirely true. Like, subconsciously, there is going to always be a part of me that cares about looks, which is why I don't identify completely as demisexual, for example. Um, because I can't look at someone who looks incredibly unhealthy and think, man, I'm attracted to them. You know, that's just not something I can do. Um, in all reality. But I don't like to judge someone, you know, if someone's overweight, let's say it looks unhealthy. I'm not gonna sit here and judge them, you know, they're probably going through hard shit in their life, you know. Being overweight can be something that someone's going through the same thing as depression, for example, and depression can cause someone to go overweight, and it's just something that that person needs to work on, and I'm sure they know damn well about their weight problems, and I'm not gonna judge that person for it. um and I would rather help them out with it, but at the same time, I don't think I could be romantically interested in that person, and I'm not particularly one to be romantically interested in people who make bad or harsh decisions. And I think get in the boat. Get in the boat. Can you get in the boat? Oh shoot. Wait, can you not get in? This is why am I stuck? Leave me alone. I'm stuck. Leave me alone. Oh. Oh. Ah. Yeah. I didn't like that you could that no consent. These zombies no consent. Concept of consent isn't even applicable to them. Anyways, I'm not someone who's like immune to romance. You know, I like my fair share of romance movies that are kind of slow burners. And I like my share of films that show someone getting their heart broken and learning, or I assume so. I could hope that they're learning from it. Something like 500 Days of Summer. I really like that movie and I rewatch it a lot because it's just a great film. You know, it's a great film about a guy who romanticizes a woman and doesn't completely understand her, and a girl who kind of led him on. She kind of understood that he was this way and she still went with it, which is another thing. And it's like you can interpret this movie in so many ways, but it is really a complicated topic. And there are people who I like in this world, and you know, who I have had romantic experiences. But I think being in my first relationship has taught me a lot about romance, and I kind of realized that it's not all it's led up to be. It's not, you know, it's just kind of like when you're in a relationship, you're excited for all these like chemicals to hit your brain, and you're excited for like all the experiences that you kind of make up together. And then you realize that that's so unrealistic in all reality. And in my first relationship, I was so insecure. You know, I didn't know anything yet, and I wasn't even ready to be in one, and I wanted to be in one, but I was just so unprepared and so vulnerable that ultimately it kind of led to aggressive heartbreak. And I was just crying, trying to get over this person. And it's like this constant battle with myself. I'm like, I don't know what I did wrong. And I didn't entirely do anything wrong, really, but it's just that my insecurity made this heartbreak so much harder than it was, because I was realizing how much I did not like myself. This put me in a journey of like trying to become a better person and actually making something of myself before I decide to date someone and have someone deal with me for a particular amount of time. And I'm also very picky now with other people, because I've kind of realized that there are so many things that I should have been taught when I was younger that I should have been so obvious that everyone should prioritize, and people don't prioritize enough. And I also fell under that umbrella so many times, dude. I made videos talking about my depression and how bad that is, but um I don't feel so depressed when I get good sleep and stuff. And that stuff has, I kind of realized that sleep is particularly connected with my depression. Not saying like bad lack of sleep makes me depressed, and that's why I was depressed that whole time. But I'm saying like it just made it 10 times worse. And now that I'm getting better sleep, not the best sleep ever, but better sleep, sleeping at a similar time, I'm just slowly trying to fall into it, not trying to be too hard on myself. Now that I'm better at that, I'm kind of realizing like there are things that you have to get better at before I mean before crying completely about depression. I guess I should have tried to work with it thoroughly, in a sense. I can't complain about being depressed and then I make bad decisions and I'm like, oh, it's the depression's fault, which it partly is, but it's not gonna help, in all reality. And I started to feel better because of that. But getting back on topic, that depression has made the heartbreak so much worse. And I've realized that most people in my life don't really even know what they're doing. They don't know why entirely you shouldn't eat certain foods. They just know that it's bad for you, and then that makes them want to do it even more. Same thing with drugs and same things with alcohol. Like you really shouldn't be smoking or drinking unless you actually understand what it does to you. You should know what you're signing up for. And it always disappoints me when that isn't prioritized, because there are so many ways that these substances can affect your brain, and they're kind of just being ignored. Um, and that's why, like, doctors will tell you to consult with them before taking certain substances. I've also been taking a psychology class, so I'm really trying to like understand myself more, or I guess how the brain works more, and it has been helping me out a lot, understanding my issues with stress and memorization and all this stuff. I'm really trying to like figure stuff out, and that's kind of also why I have a particular interest in psychology. Wow, it is storming. How did this even happen? It was just a sunny day 1 second ago, and then it just starts storming. Is this how early Minecraft is like? Is this how the weather is like now? Anyways, I think about like my past relationship, and I think like my partner themselves didn't even know what they were doing at all, and it's just this whole thing of self sabotage. It felt like, where I felt like I should have known that this would lead nowhere, and I should have predicted that later on. But do I have enough wood? And you really shouldn't, I guess, date someone signing up for, I guess, a sense of sabotage. And I'm not saying like if you make bad decisions, you can't date someone, or if you think it'll go nowhere, you shouldn't date them. But if you can't imagine a future with that person that you would be satisfied with, then it seems like there would be no point in pursuing that person. And also, I think, beforehand, I was someone who was very uh, loving, more forward with what I wanted, and now I guess I tend to find myself devoid of wanting to. Oh man, this place looks ugly. We really gotta I had a plan going on, and then I kind of forgot what I was gonna do. But I think it was supposed to be like yeah, I think it was supposed to be fairly wooded out, I think. I'm sorry, my viewers, I am failing you. I am failing you. I'm supposed to make fire builds, not ass builds. I'm so sorry. What was I saying? I completely forgot, actually. Completely forgot everything. Personally, if I were to be open and honest here, of course I would eventually want to be in a relationship, But I feel like I'm too young to settle down with, I guess, someone, with just anybody, in a sense. I wouldn't want to. Man, this weather is really annoying me. Turn that off. What did that do? Oh, ambient and environment. No, no, that just made it louder. Okay. I just find that I would rather focus on myself, and when people attempt to, I guess, flirt with me, it just feels odd to me, because I would rather be told the intentions of the person first rather than just get flirted with. It feels sort of lazy in my head, and I honestly would rather not be called by my appearance. It feels almost boring to me. I would just rather be like told, hey, I'm interested in you. Do you want to like date or something? And I'd be like, yeah, sure. To me, it's really that simple. And yeah, that makes sense to me. In all honesty, I don't know entirely if I want to do it like this. I think I want to have like something like this where you can walk in, I guess, and then I'll have this covered with wood. I mean, with cobblestone. Yeah, there we go. So that way I know I want to make like a hallway type thing. I think it's more simplistic this way. No, no, no. I'm fucking it up. I like when people are very intentional about our about what is going on. You know, I like when I am bluntly told intentions or what someone expects from me, and you know what a person wants. It just makes more sense to me, and I guess I hate playing the mind games. Like when I'm complimented, if someone were to call me hot, hypothetically, uh I wouldn't know what to think of it. I wouldn't know if they're trying to flirt or if this is just how they are, because some people are just that way. And I wouldn't know, like, exactly how to reply to that. You know, what do you say to someone who is calling you hot? You say, thanks, you're hot too. All I really know how to say is just thank you. You know, if I flirt back, it's gonna feel like I'm leading that person on, or I'm gravitating towards that behavior, and then they're gonna keep flirting, and I'm gonna be like, ugh, I just dislike this person the more that I speak to them because it's just continuous flirting, for example. And you know, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with flirting, but I like, I guess, knowing the person beforehand, and there is kind of something established where the person knows me and I know them, and it's kind of just this thing where we're both kind of comfortable with it, with each other. And you know, there are different ways that someone can flirt. Dude, the sky is flickering. Anyways, moving on from that, I'm gonna turn off hostile creatures because I'm sick of everything. I just think the modern generation, you know, we're all very confused. We're all very lost. We don't entirely know what to do or what we're doing. Um, and I'm trying to figure that out myself. But personally, before dating someone entirely, I think you should have other things that you're passionate in first. Obviously, my hobby is YouTube, but I also like drawing and reading and talking to my friends. Those are all things that I enjoy, and I have been relying less and less on people to entertain me, which has also been pretty good for me. I've also realized that I'm a very shy person in general, and you know, at school I'm pretty reclusive. I keep to myself, and it's hard for me to like kind of go up to someone and talk to them, especially because I don't feel a particular need to. I'll get followed on social media, and that might mean, hey, I want to talk to you. But then when I see the person, I don't necessarily say hi to them or anything. I kind of just, you know, look at them, glance away, and continue what I'm usually doing, particularly because I like when people are more straightforward towards me rather than me talking to them. Getting a follow on social media doesn't really mean anything to me, nor do likes or consistent attention. I'm not gonna lie, I do look at my likes occasionally, my story likes or something when the notification pops up, but that's really it. I don't really look at who's viewing my stories anymore or who's liking my posts because it feels strange. And I kind of like to, I guess, stay in my own world. If I get too overwhelmed in social interactions with people, it can also just be way too overstimulating and a lot. Maybe this one shouldn't be here. Why are you up there? Actually, I think these are in the wrong place. But then now it does kind of look strange. What can you do? What can you do? And then these are 2 blocks. This is 3? Oh, two. Oh, this should be 3. Oh, wait. 2, 3. Oh, no. This should be 2. 2. It's, it's not even though. All right. We'll do 2, 4. Ugh. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how I should build this. I don't really entirely know why I'm shy at school or like why I avoid people a lot of the times. And I do have lots of friends, but when I'm at school, I try to focus on leaving more than anything, because I just don't want to be there. Um, not the biggest fan of school. I kind of just try to go home and do what I usually do. I find that what I do is more productive than calculus or whatever the heck, because I like editing and I like working out and I like doing all these other things that kind of feel good and kind of feel like I'm going somewhere, or I'm going somewhere with the knowledge of it instead of logarithms, you know. It just doesn't feel very applicable to anything. I think something that I was trying to get at before was that you don't entirely need a relationship, but it isn't bad, to want to see someone and, they let you know that they love you and they are your romantic interest. But at the same time, relying on those feelings and kind of like not using them to be productive, I guess, in a sense, it feels almost meaningless. I'm trying to kind of work on my pickiness, I guess, with people, because I'm very picky. And I'm almost kind of like, I beforehand I used to have way more romantic occurrences, but now they don't happen as much because I don't involve myself in those conversations and in those um situations that it would happen in. So that's why it's not a common occurrence for me. Why does this look so strange? Whoopsies daisies. Yeah, it's starting to look better. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm trying to explore myself, I guess. A lot of romantic situations are full of these like really complicated feelings, overwhelming feelings, and I'm not someone to rely on good emotions all the time, you know? Because they don't last long. They don't last forever, and I feel like it is almost self-sabotaging, uh, which is why I hate substances and yeah, I hate the alcohol stuff because something that temporarily feels good is not gonna feel good later. It's just not gonna be worth it later on, and then now you have this issue where you kind of really like it and you want to keep doing it, and then you want life to always feel that way. It's like if you can't always have it, and if it's not even good for you, it's not worth it. You could be like, oh, but it helps me in social situations, and I only do it and when I party and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, but like, what is that gonna lead up to? Like my goal in life is to kind of help people, and like me getting addicted to drugs isn't really gonna help with that. Not saying that like the other things that I do, are gonna help me with wanting to help other people. Like my hours and Marvel Rivals isn't really gonna, I guess, help me help other people. But it does kind of like help me mentally because it feels like a little break from life, when I'm playing games, and it's not entirely self-sabotaging because it's a resting period for me. I don't use it as like a negative in my life. I'm still doing all my work and stuff, and I'm still thinking very deeply of what I do. I like to kind of think ahead a little bit. I've talked about this before. It's always good to think ahead a little bit and kind of do things that are good for you and is going to be worth it later. Think about your intention when you do stuff, I guess. Would I like to have lots of romantic experiences? I would probably really like that. I would love it, dude. But later on, going through another heartbreak isn't necessarily what I'm gonna want in life. Or like, I'm gonna be thinking about the fact that I could have been doing something else instead of spending my time dating someone when I don't even completely know exactly what I wanted to do yet or what I achieve from it. If I don't know my future with that person, like I don't know what's going on. I'm not saying you should predict a future with someone or anything. I'm kind of saying that I want something more than the excitement. I would want a relationship that's productive in a sense. I kind of want to like do something with that person. I think like watching a lot of PewDiePie, bringing them up again, and Marzia, they're always doing stuff together. You know, they're going out together and they're making stuff together. They're making the videos together, for example. I would probably want a partner that would do that with me, you know, instead of just like spending my time flirting. And honestly, that gets nowhere, in my opinion. It's not just my biggest priority. It's kind of just like something that will probably happen. I kind of hope that it happens. But who knows? It probably won't. And either way, I will likely die happy because I do the things that I want to do. I realize that there's more in life that I've always wanted to do besides date a person, you know? Dating a person isn't the greatest thing to experience. Neither is drugs or, you know, the other stuff that people experience. It can do so much bad, and you don't even realize. A good relationship that feels good, just gives you all these chemicals, you know, without self-establishment beforehand, is so sabotaging. When that heartbreak happened, it was like the world collapsed. I was crying for a whole year just over this one person, and I didn't know what else to do. You know, I really liked this person. At that point, my vision was to like succeed in my studies and I guess stay with this person and be happy together. But then it all fell apart and I was left with the leftovers of what I had before, which was just insecurity and sadness. And I was just like, man. And I had to figure out what was good about me, you know, and it took me a while. It's still taking me a while to figure out the things I'm good at because I'm an amateur at a lot of things that I generally do. I still feel like I'm an amateur at drawing and self-expression, but I kind of noticed that I was getting a little better, you know, and that kind of made me smile a bit. And I'm an amateur at working out, but I'm still seeing continuous growth and I see the progress in my body and I'm like, man, before, you know, I didn't look at my body the same way I do now. And I'm like, oh, I actually kind of worked for this and this kind of feels better and it's accomplishing and letting out that creative energy is great. And having different hobbies is great because you're touching different areas of your brain. I don't know if that's like the best way to word it. Like I'm touching my brain, interacting with myself. And it's just kind of like great. It's cool. It's awesome. I'm like, I'm enjoying it, enjoying life while I can, I guess, enjoying parts of it. And I'm just kind of like trying to get a footing before I again have someone deal with me. You know, I go through so much anguish mentally and I have these like pessimistic thoughts at times. But all they really are, I've kind of realized, are just thoughts. You know, they don't define me. And I'm working on it and they are getting a little more positive. I'm also too much of a hater. Listen. People do things that are kind of annoying. I'm like, I don't really care. All right. I used to care about like energy drinks, for example. I used to I still like them. You know, I drink them. From time to time. I don't drink them addictively like people presume. But I kind of got tired of like the personality of collecting plastic and like drinking something that's actually kind of bad for you and being like, oh, I'm about to stay up all night and drink like 3 monsters and I'm gonna tell everyone I know about it. I just kind of find it a little strange. I'm like, okay, drink your energy drink, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know, before I used to be like, yeah, they taste good, I guess. But then I guess now, like, that I've learned more about them, and the chemicals and, like, the way that they kind of hurt your teeth and, the caffeine in them and that feeling afterward of, like, that caffeine crash and then, like, not having it gives you a headache and there's just so many negatives to it. I'm just like, man, this isn't entirely great either, actually. This isn't the best thing in the world. And now I kind of find it lame. Guys, caffeine, it's not that great. Alright, guys? I'm still addicted to it. Alright, I got lots of coffee in my system. Just having a little bit of coffee is actually kind of good for you. Apparently, having a balance of it, a good balance, a healthy balance, not going over your limits is good for you. But also, like, energy drinks, for example, they have so many other chemicals that your body starts to rely on and it weakens your body to those reliances to where you kind of need more energy drinks to combat that. And then it's kind of just sad at that point and that's why I'm not addicted to them anymore. But if I keep drinking zero sugar Dr. Peppers, like I plan on doing, when I finally get paid, it's gonna be a bad time for me, you know? I'm gonna be nonstop talking about Dr. Pepper zero sugar, specifically strawberry cream, and I'm not gonna let up, and then I'm gonna get out of it, and then I'm gonna think it's lame, and then I'm gonna like stop drinking it, and it's gonna be another thing. You. I can't say that. I can't. It's Warnish Radio. I can't say that. It's bad. I gotta control myself. I gotta control myself. Oh, I'm dying. Owie. 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 Oh shoot! Oh shoot! Dude, so many mobs. It's actually unfair how mean they are to me, and it's mean. It's bad. But anyways, I kind of hope I got my message across here. If you're interested in someone, let's say, let's use the example from the Weekly Slap. There was this guy who was talking to this girl for a while, and he enjoyed her conversations so much, and he was having such a good time talking with her for hours, and then he confesses to her that he likes her and that he wants to be more than friends. And then she tells him, I'm sorry, but I only see you as a friend and I'm not interested. And then he really can't get over her, and he can't stop thinking about her. And the reason why I didn't like Jay Schlatt's advice, for example, is that he was talking about the friend zone, and he was talking about how it's a toxic place to be in, and when you stick around, your main method is going to be like trying to get out of it. But I, for one, think that the friend zone is gross, and that you shouldn't stick around because you feel sad for yourself. You should stick around because you are willing to continue being this person's friend, and you're gonna learn more about them in a way that may either hinder your feelings towards them or make those feelings grow. And sometimes it doesn't work out for people. Sometimes they can't handle the fact that they are romantically interested in someone, and that's okay, because that's why you can end a relationship and appreciate the magic that it had beforehand, and the feelings that it left with you. I also think that ending friendships and relationships is kind of healthy at times, because when something particularly bad happens, there's nothing wrong with putting a stop to it and leaving yourself with the good memories. I don't think carrying on with someone who you don't particularly agree with or you're not fond of anymore as much as you used to be is good for you, and it's okay to be left with the good part in your head and in your thoughts. I think about friends that I don't have anymore all the time, and just wishing them the best, and I'm happy with the time that I spent with them before, I guess, they turned crazy themselves, or they turned out to be someone I didn't expect them to be. I've spent a lot of time doing that and trying to figure people out, trying to help them. But then I realized that you really cannot help someone who does not want to be helped. Very self-sabotaging. I gotta get home with all this wood. I got so much wood. Look at all this wood. I don't have enough wood, I don't think, but it's okay. Anyways, I think that about wraps up this Warnish Radio. I don't particularly know if I have any other thoughts to give on romantic relationships, but I hope you kind of got something out of this. If you're in a relationship yourself, I wish you all the best luck, and I wish you all the best happiness, and stay learning about that person and do new things together. Have fun. And if you're not, and you want to date someone eventually, or you want to like settle down, or maybe just explore that area, all power to you. I'm sure you'll meet lots of people if you're a great person, at least. If you think that you're good. For the people who are not interested, I also wish you the best happiness in your ventures. Wish you all the best happiness. And yeah. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.